Have you ever set a goal and feel like you're doing great for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, and then it just kind of starts to fade away? Yeah, we've all been there before. But today we're talking about how to set goals that don't just stay on your to-do list, but they actually get done. Hey, welcome to Growing Up Kingdom. My name is Daniel, and I'm so excited that you're here. If you've been looking for a place where you feel like you can be encouraged, where you feel like you can grow in your confidence, this is an absolutely great place to do that. So make sure that you stick around. I've talked about goal setting in a couple of different episodes before, a little bit here, a little bit there, but I figured, hey, it's a new season. Our lives are starting to go in different directions, so we might as well learn how to actually set goals properly. This is part one of a series we're calling Mindset Shift, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now we're entering a new season, our lives are going in different directions, and we want to know how to actually set goals that get done. I've read that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. And that's crazy. Imagine all the people starting out with great intentions to do amazing things. And then February rolls around and you're like, I failed on all of them already. And maybe you can relate to that. I know I've set goals before, wrote my list all happily, la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, wrote my list. And then, I don't know, I look 3 weeks in and I'm like, I haven't done any of these. So, how do we actually set goals? Let's get to that. You've probably heard of vague goals before. There's goals that people set that they're like goals, but they're not really goals at the same time. They're things like, I'm going to get better grades. I'm going to start working out more. Those are goals, yes, but there's not much to them. So how do we actually set goals that get done? Let's talk about that. Without a clear plan, you end up feeling discouraged when you don't see any sort of progress. So when we're talking about setting goals that actually make sense, that actually are that we can actually achieve, we want to make sure that we have a clear plan. There's so many distractions that it's hard to follow through if you don't have a plan. Between social media, sports, homework, actual work, all this different stuff going on in life, it's easy to put off goals until later. I'll do it later. Oh yeah, I'll take care of that later. But later never comes. It's always now. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. That's me with my Duolingo. I don't know any other Duolingo users out there. I use it to practice a couple of different languages, but I will try to keep my streak alive. In case you don't know what Duolingo is, it's a language learning app and it tracks your streaks. So right now I'm at a 200-something day streak. Pretty impressive compared to some people's, but nothing like some other people's streak. But anyways, I will set the goal. I do my Duolingo every day. But sometimes there's some days where I just don't feel like it. When I think about it, I'm like, nah, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then I wake up the next day, I'm like, I forgot to do my Duolingo. Anyways, that's what it's like to not plan correctly. I had a goal, but I think we could all agree I didn't actually fulfill that goal because I put it off till later. So, how do we break this cycle? How do we actually set a plan to get our goals to come to pass? We need to have a clear vision. When you know why you're doing something, it helps you stay motivated. Sometimes I don't feel like sitting down here and recording. I just don't. Sometimes it just feels tough and I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like it. And sometimes I'll put a recording off for a day. I'll say, you know what? Nah, forget this. I'll record tomorrow. And that's great. But I know that there's people listening. I know this content is valuable. It's life-changing. And that encourages me to get here, sit down, and record. So you have an episode to watch every single week. It's that vision, that goal of encouraging you, helping you grow in your confidence that motivates me to do this. So when you know why you're doing something, it's so much easier. Think about why athletes push so hard during practice. I know a guy recently, he broke his fibula in football practice. And I'm like, it's a practice. You're not even actually playing. And yes, it was an accident, but these guys, they practice so hard because they're focused on actually winning. They don't just practice because, oh, hey, you know what? I want to practice. I want to do this every once in a while. They have the goal of being the best, and they have that vision in their mind. Maybe you've set a goal before, but you just didn't feel excited about it. And that's very often because you have a lack of vision behind it. Without a vision, it's just another chore. It's just something else to tick off your to-do list. So, let's talk about how to set goals that actually stick. How to set goals that actually get done. I have broken down SMART goals in the past. It's this really fun acronym. I've broken it down in one episode. Took a little bit of time to break it down. But since this episode is all about goal setting, if you want to set actual goals that get done, we're not just saying, I want to work out more. I want to get better grades. Nah, we got to do something specific to make these goals actually work out. So let's talk about the SMART goals criteria. First of all, they're specific and it's measurable. You know what? I won't even break them down all of this. I have a free download. You can find that in the description. We'll break those all down. But the first two are specific and measurable. We'll hit those two real quick. So instead of saying, I want to get better at math, you would say, I'll spend 30 minutes every day reviewing algebra. That, I would argue, is a clear goal. It's specific. Vague goals, they start to feel overwhelming because you don't know where to start. If I say I'm going to get better at math, where do I start? What do? I don't know. But if we make it specific and we make it measurable, I am going to practice. I'm going to review algebra 30 minutes every day. That's specific and that's measurable. Now you're so much closer to actually getting something done. Step 2, break it into smaller steps. Big goals, they can feel impossible until you start to actually break them down. If I say I am going to read the entire Bible, that might feel like a big goal. It's a big book. But if I break it down and I say, you know what? I'm just going to start with a chapter a day. Every morning before I get up, or as soon as I get up, before I brush my teeth, I'm going to read the Bible. 1 chapter a day. That's a great way to break it down and make it just a smaller step rather than this huge goal. I'm going to read the Bible. Okay, you want to read the Bible? How do you do it? I'm going to read the Bible by reading a chapter every day when I get up. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Set yourself a timeline. Step number 3 would be give yourself a deadline. By so-and-so, this has to be done. I will tend to procrastinate if I don't have a deadline. If I know I have to do something by a certain time, I'll do it. If I don't, I'll be like, oh, that has to get done. I'll do it later. Like I talked about earlier. Oh, I'll do it later. That's fine. I'll do it later. Some other time. Well, yeah, we'll get it done. But I've realized if you set yourself an actual deadline, even if there's nothing due, even if your homework isn't due on Friday, that's like sometimes the only time we ever set ourselves a deadline to do something. Oh, this has to be done, so I'm going to do this. But no, hey, you want to clean your room? Tell yourself, okay, I'm going to have my room cleaned by Thursday evening. And that sets yourself a goal and that motivates you to actually go out and get it done. So, and going back to reading through the Bible, let's say, again, it might take you a long time to get through the Bible like this, but let's say, hey, I want to get through the book of Genesis by, I don't know, the second week in February. Okay, now you set yourself a goal. You might have to read a chapter, you might have to read a little bit more, might have to read a little bit less, faster, slower, depending on what time you're starting. But if that's your goal, now you have something to work towards. Step number 4, accountability matters. Tell yourself a friend, a mentor, someone who's able to keep you accountable. Could be a parent, could be anyone who's able to check in on you. And then you're way more likely to actually stay on track. If someone says, hey, how's this going? How's that project going? I don't think that takes too much explanation. If you want to get your goals done, set yourself a goal and tell someone else about it. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. So people use this for goal setting all the time. If you're looking for biblical goal setting, they talk about this, the idea of writing the vision, writing the goal down. So if someone else sees it, they can understand it and they can run with it and they can continue, they can help further that vision, further that goal. But I just want to remind us that it's great to have accountability, to have someone else that we can show our vision to, because then they'll be able to see it and they'll be able to help us with it. They'll be able to run with it. Even with these steps, staying consistent will be hard, but a lot of things worth doing tend to be hard in life. We just have to get used to it. So let's talk about how to keep going when motivation seems to drop off. Because looking back at that statistic, 80% by February, motivation seems to go like and fall off. So, how to stay committed when it gets hard? There will be days when you don't feel like doing work. It's normal. Like I said, sometimes I don't feel like sitting down and recording. Maybe you're tired after school and the last thing you actually want to do is practice the piano or go hit the gym. That might be the last thing you want to do after a long day of school. But if you set yourself a goal, you still want to work towards that. So, some strategies to stay on track. Remember your why. Think back to your vision. Again, goals don't make much sense unless you have an actual vision, some end result that you want to see in your life. Why did you set this goal in the first place? Think about that. That will usually help encourage you. Number 2, celebrate small wins. If you achieved something, you finished your first week, maybe you worked out for a week straight. That's a great reason to celebrate. Tell someone else. Do something maybe a little bit different and enjoy that win. Number 3, pray for strength. Ask God to help you stay disciplined, stay focused when things are starting to get hard. If you need more encouragement, maybe sit down and just pray and ask for strength. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." We want to stay consistent because we will reap a harvest. If we set a goal, if we have a vision behind it, it's because we want to see something better in our lives. And if we keep moving towards it, we'll see that come to pass. So, my question to you is, what's one thing that you've been putting off in your life? One goal that you've been wanting to accomplish? This week, take 10 minutes, write it down, make it specific, and create a simple plan. Tell someone about your goal, a friend, a parent, some mentor, or even put down in the comments if you want some extra accountability. If this episode has encouraged you, if it has helped you, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you can on the platform you're listening. If you think a friend or family member could benefit from this, make sure you go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they'd love to hear the content. God's given us all the tools, the time, and the resources to achieve amazing things. But the greatest goal you can achieve is a relationship with Jesus. Jesus came 2,000 years ago so that we could have a relationship with him. And aside from that, all the rest of our goals are meaningless. So, if you have never started that part of your life, if you've never set a goal to get closer to Jesus, I would encourage you to set that goal now. This podcast is a great way to do that. If you're looking for more ways to be encouraged, to grow in your confidence, make sure you stick around because that's all that this channel is about. I will go ahead and catch you in the next episode. I'll see you next time. Bye.